Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Melvin on the mic, and today I'm on the mic with my friend Maria.
Hello.
I met Maria. How long has it been, Maria?
Oh my God, I don't
6
even
years,
know.
8 years, 10 years? I don't know for
It's
sure.
been a long time. I think probably like 7 years.
I think somewhere around there.
Yeah.
We met because we're both. So I have a big background in photography. I lean more towards video these days. Maria's has a background in photography. Still is doing photography, but at the time we met, both of us were working for a magazine based here out of Houston, a Texas magazine.
Yeah.
We're not going to mention the name of the magazine, but I was working on the website for the magazine and assisting on some of the shoots. And Maria was working on the outline or the design of the actual print for the magazine. She was using InDesign for that. That was the first time I got introduced to InDesign. I'd never used it before. So the person that was heading up that magazine thought, oh, y'all should meet sometime. And little did he know that us meeting was going to lead to us both realizing that we were like being taken advantage of. Yeah. And by the time of that meetup, we both decided that like we were going to quit.
Yeah, and then we started other projects together, which was really cool. And look at us, like we're still friends after so many years.
Yeah. So if you guys have been keeping up with my podcast, 3 of my previous guests, I met all of them technically through Maria, because Maria had started up this thing in Houston called Explore Houston.
Yeah.
And
fun times.
Yeah, it was. And Explore, why don't you tell pretty much what Explore was, because it was your deal.
Yeah. Well, it was mostly like us like getting together from just spending too much time at work, not really like getting out into Houston, finding cool places in the city, really just getting together with friends. It was just like an excuse to find like new cool places to visit and to like, to go eat. And every time that we will hang out, we will like have like a schedule. I don't know if you remember that. We have like a whole schedule.
I mean, originally because you were doing it for a while before I started getting involved with it.
Yeah.
And you would mostly kind of wing it. You'd be like, all right, we got these 2-3 spots. We're just going to go. But then as it started to grow, we kind of put together a calendar or schedule.
Oh, yeah.
Of like, hey, we're going to be here, here, and here. And we tried our best to stick to the schedule in case people couldn't meet for the whole day, that they would know that like, oh, by 12, they're going to be at this spot, or at 1, they're going to be at this other spot or whatever.
Yeah.
But it was hard to stay on the schedule because you can't predict how long you might spend at one spot versus another, because one spot might turn out to be like really cool. Yeah. And you're like, let's stay for an extra 30 minutes, an extra hour. And then the next spot's delayed, and then the next spot, and so on.
Yeah, exactly.
One thing I loved about Explore, though, is being in the creative space and being interested in photography is it wasn't necessarily a photo meetup group, but it kind of was, because a lot of people had some level of creative. A lot of it was photography, but there were a lot of people that were there that had interest in music and other stuff. And I think that's why I've stayed in touch with so many of the people from Explore for so long. Yeah, is because we are aligned in similar interests.
No, yeah, that's true. And we got to see some cool things together, share a lot of like cool experiences, share like food and everything. Like I thought it was awesome because we will visit like businesses, support them, come out like as a big group, and sometimes they will give us discount. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah, we get a discount code if people came in and said they were from Explore Houston, and then 10% off or something like that.
Yeah, and that was like us like subconsciously like supporting like obviously the community and small businesses. We will always like schedule to go to like a dessert place and also food. Remember that?
Yeah, we would try to do like a lunch and then a dessert or like a drink spot. And local, we tried to stay away from chain places, mostly just Houston only spots.
Exactly.
I remember that time we went to the ice cream place, not the ice cream place in the Heights, but the one that was like
the popsicles.
Yeah, what was that?
Yeah. That's a popsicle spot. I think that they still have some sort of ice cream place there. Yeah.
Is it?
Okay, I went recently and they still have, but it's not the same spot.
I want to go back again because I remember that was like one of the first times I had like a coffee-based ice cream pop, and I was like,
was it a popsicle, right?
Pretty much. Well, they were like ice creams, but popsicle style. Yeah. Okay, like ice cream on a stick, right?
Right.
Yeah, and I remember they had like I remember because I got a coconut one and I got a coffee one.
Oh,
I was going back
yeah.
and forth with coconut and coffee. But I've never been able to. I don't remember where that was. Oddly enough, I think I was the one that drove us there, but I don't remember where we were.
It was in the Heights. I'm pretty sure it was in the.
No, it was far. It was like 'cause
Really?
we went out by like the port. Because it was like the warehouse.
Oh, I know where you're talking about. It's like the ones that are like really creative, brain freeze, right, or something
I
like
think
that.
so. Yeah. So it's like the
yeah.
warehouse where they distribute them, but they had like a little storefront.
Right. And
You
then,
go in and it's just like a little room and a bunch of coolers.
Okay. Okay. I think I know what you're talking about. That was by the Orange Show.
Yeah. It was
Right?
out. I think
Yeah.
it was out that way. I just remember us
Yeah.
driving like this weird circle, and we were along near the channel. That's
We
all
were
I
just
remember.
looking for a place to go have like some dessert or something.
Have you been back talking about the Orange Show? Have you been back to? I can't remember the name of the park next to it, but back then they were just getting started with like all the mosaic artwork in that park next door, and it's done now. But I haven't gone back to visit it again. Have you?
Where are you talking?
So the Orange Show, if you're facing the Orange Show, immediately to the right there was like a little
I know
park,
what you're talking about.
like benches, and they were
Yeah.
they were doing the mosaic art with like broken tiles and broken.
I know what
pottery.
you're talking about. Yeah.
That park is complete now.
Oh yeah, that's right. Actually, no, I have not. I have not like gone around, but I know some people have taken pictures there randomly. I've seen their photos,
Yeah,
but it's not that popular for like photo spots. But I mean, maybe we
we need to get a
can-
group together.
Yeah,
For
exactly.
Old time's sake, right? Let's
I
have an
know.
explore reunion and go out there.
Yeah, for sure. You know, like lately, I've been talking to the whole like team from like that we work together with the Montreux Studios right now. And we have talked about doing marketing again, and I think that Explore Houston was like a good like marketing thing also, and like fun for everybody. Maybe we should like look back into that. you
Yeah,
know?
there's a. I'm gonna have to tell you about this one off camera, off mic, because
Okay.
there's something I'm gonna be working on soon,
Okay.
and
okay.
it's specifically to give me a different niche or a different channel within my YouTube of
Okay.
content that I'm gonna create.
Right.
But there's like kind of a marketing spin on it, and I know if y'all are listening, you're probably like, well, just tell us. So that's like,
Yeah.
it's not ready yet.
Yeah. Surprise.
Yeah, what I'm working on right
surprise.
now, and Maria already knows this because she's heard me talking about it for like the last 20-30 minutes, but is my merch, and so that's like
Yeah.
my big focus right now. Is I
That's
already
awesome.
have merch, but like it's not very well organized, and so I'm excited to get the store up and running soon.
Okay,
But
that's
we
cool.
should do some Explore Houston or some Montreux Studio.
Yeah.
Why don't you tell? So we're talking about Montreux Studio, right?
Okay.
Why don't you say what it is though?
Yeah, of course. So funny enough, the Montreux Studios was born like right after Explore Houston.
Yeah.
You know how like you start a business and then all of a sudden like it develops into something completely different. That's basically how that
It
that
morphs.
happened. Yeah. So I remember like we had an event. They had like some colorful exhibition in downtown by Discovery Green actually, really close to here. And it was like a color event. I don't know if you remember. Like
Is it Via Calori?
no, it was like an exhibition that like in the ceiling they put like a bunch of like it was like strings, of color. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Yeah, so after that event, so that day, I was already in Montrose. We had the editing company in Houston. And then I was like, we brought confetti to that event, and we just saw how much fun like people were having with the confetti,
Yeah.
So then whenever we did, we were in Montrose and we had like opened the studio, it was just supposed to be a place to just like drop off pictures for photographers because we had like the editing company,
Yeah.
And then like we just honestly, I just saw like, oh my God, like people are just having so much fun just throwing confetti. And I was like, okay, this is something, like that's when I realized that.
For me, the thing I remember most when you first started Montreux Studios that I think really set you apart at that time was your use of balloons.
Oh yeah. No, nobody had done it in Houston. I mean, obviously people were having like setups here and there. Now it's a huge industry actually.
Yeah.
But before, like nobody was doing it, especially like with like I will say like in LA and New York, and I'm like, damn, we don't have that here. And we were lucky enough to have a good spot in the city, like in Montrose. So I was like, you know what, like let's have like or like open house, right? And then we set up a bunch of balloons with confetti, and that was just like, ever since that just created the whole business itself, and it just started evolving. It's been 5 years now, you know?
Yeah, it's amazing. And if you guys listening and trying to understand what we're talking about with balloons, it's like, imagine like a very elaborate backdrop, like the size of a wall, like of a room, with all these blown up balloons in different sizes and colors, and kind of somewhat into some sort of an artsy style design.
Yeah, I mean...
And you would switch it out like every couple of weeks, right?
We did. So honestly, like now I look back at it and I'm like, oh my God, that was like pretty bad, but like it's because there was no standard back then.
Well, you get your start and you learn, right?
Yeah, for sure. Like, I mean, you know, obviously like people still enjoyed it, and I'll be surprised, you know. And obviously it's still fun, you know. It's still something that people keep coming back for, just like the confetti, the balloons, and obviously like we changed the designs, and now we customize it for like any customer that, you know, wants to do like a theme for their kids and their families. And it's just, I mean, it's just so meaningful to me, you know. That's why I do it, and I'm just happy that it's stuck, you know, in Houston, and still to this day it's still going, you know. It's
amazing. It's a fun theme. That's what I like about it.
Yeah.
And you could, like you said, the colors, you could make it thematic to anything. So if it's school colors, or your favorite colors, or holidays, or whatever you want it to be, or if you're a business out there and you want to, you know, put your business colors in there.
Exactly. And you know, from there people were asking us like, okay, so now are you gonna do like this for the next holiday coming up? Like we have like the summer, and then we have Christmas, and I was
Spring,
like,
summer,
I guess
fall.
so.
Yeah. So what's funny is like, so I'm huge into Halloween and horror themed stuff. I always have been. And so I do this thing in October where I watch a horror movie every single day for the whole month.
Oh, okay.
And I started a little early. I started like mid-September.
Okay.
And so I've been consuming like tons and tons and tons of horror content.
Right.
And I went to pick up Maria today for the podcast, and I walk in and she's doing Christmas photos.
I know.
And she's got like Christmas music in the background, and it's like pentatonics, Christmas music. I was like, this is so strange. My brain is in horror Halloween mode, but I hear Christmas music.
Yeah, no. I understand. we do have one day for Halloween because, you know, obviously like, you know, like people love Halloween, but there's just so many like amazing like setups out there for that. So that I'm like, okay, I'm not competing with that. Like those are nice, you know.
Yeah, and it's a lot of more. It's a big investment too. That's the thing. Is when you set up these backdrops, you got to buy all this different stuff. Like you have all the Christmas trees right now and all that stuff, and you may not be able to use the same stuff next year, or it may not store well. So then you got to get a whole new set of stuff. So yeah, if you're not going to do a lot of horror themed or Halloween themed, not worth the investment.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Christmas is basically like, it could be like 3 months, you know? So
yeah, because people want to start printing out their Christmas cards, and they want to do the photograph of the family. And in this instance, the family consisted of a dog and a cat.
Right. Yeah, we're not supposed to have pets, but...
It was funny because I showed up to the studio, and I saw the dog, and I was like, oh, cool, somebody brought their dog. And then there was just like this black cat wandering around the studio. And I was like, there's a cat here too?
Cut it off.
Oh, my bad.
No, it's okay. But no, honestly, I love pets. I love animals, and like I think that the pets and the dogs and everything, like there's a place in my apartment building, which is not too far from the studio, that I can like literally use anytime.
Yeah.
It's like a game room, and nobody ever goes there, and it's like first come first serve. So basically, if I just like decide to do sessions there one day with the dogs,
or just outdoors,
definitely like I can just like set it up there, you know.
My friend Morgan, she's a dog lover, and she's got this it almost looks like a lab but a little bit smaller, so it's a black dog. And she goes to all these Halloween pet dress up competitions every year.
Oh yeah, those are fun.
And so every year she messages me and she's like, hey, me and Lucy are gonna go do the show, can you know, on this day can we meet up ahead so that you can do the photos? So she spray painted her dog like a skeleton.
Really?
And we went to a cemetery.
Oh my god!
And I was taking pictures of her dog as like a little.
Is that like a photo competition or something like that?
It's just a dress up competition for the dogs.
Oh, okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So like I haven't gotten the call yet this year, but like she was on the podcast about a month or so ago, and she was like, you know, October's coming up, and me and Lucy are gonna, you know, she's gonna get dressed up. But yeah, it's I always tell people like our cameras can lead us to a lot of sometimes unusual and interesting places that you never really would think of.
I agree 100%.
Never would have thought I'd be photographing a dog in a cemetery.
No, I mean, honestly, like, taking pictures has gotten me so many opportunities, if you think about it. Like, I got in jobs just because I'm taking pictures of someone, you know?
Yeah.
And this is before the studio also. Like, I remember, like, there was a college open house that they were, like, looking for students to work for them. And then I remember that there was, like, this like, booth for, like, Radio Disney, and I just took photos for them, and all of a sudden I got their contact and I got a job there, you know, right before like all of this, you know.
I remember hearing a little bit about Radio Disney because Adolfo told me about Radio Disney, and that's where y'all met, was working there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's where we met. And then also, like, I was taking pictures there too, you know. I was the historian there, which, you know, honestly, like, sometimes I don't even realize how much experience I have. Yeah. Because, like, for me, it just comes natural. And sometimes whenever I'm trying to teach somebody, like, I don't understand how they don't know.
Yeah, because it seems simple, right? So, like, So, like, what's funny for me is I think you're an amazing editor.
Thank you.
I still have not taken the time to learn Lightroom, right? Like, it's like, I'm sure it will make things easier, but I'm also like, I don't want to learn another program. It's just like every time a new social media platform comes out and I'm in the marketing world, I was like, no, we don't need another one. But in Photoshop, I am pretty good with Photoshop. Right. But not to the level that you are.
I don't know. Like, I mean, the thing that I do is, like, obviously retouching and, like, taking stuff in and out. But for coloring, honestly, Photoshop is great. Lightroom is very much like, it's a little more simple to put it, like, a lot of pictures at the same time. But I wouldn't take away the credit from Photoshop. Photoshop, honestly, is like an amazing program, and you can do so much with it, so much more than Lightroom.
I love a lot of the recent features they've been implementing in Photoshop. Like when you used to try to remove something, you might use a cloning stamp, or you might, you know, there's a bunch of different things you would try to do. Now you literally get the lasso tool, you circle it, and you hit the delete button, and you set it to content aware, and it's gone. Right. And I'm like, dude, this used to take me forever, and now it's like literally, it's like click, 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 gone.
I know, and I know some secrets that you can just do in Canva, but I don't want to say it out loud because somebody lost their job because I told them the secret.
Oh, really?
They went to tell their office, hey, you know, you can do it like this in Canva. And then, like, they fired her. I was like, oh, my God.
Why?
Because, like, now they didn't need her because this used to take all day.
I think everything's relative because, like, okay, so here's a good example. Like,
she had just gotten the job, though, so.
One of my buddies came by yesterday afternoon. Okay. And he needed a bunch of flyers done for his business. Okay. And he was trying to, like, kind of get the information to me via email and text, but it was just not, like, translating well. I was like, dude, I just need you to, like, bullet point it out. Give me the content in a Word doc or a Google doc. Right. I'll make it look pretty for you, right? Right. But he just wasn't, like, quite grasping it. So then he came over here and we just sat down together and we knocked it out. Okay. But he was like, dude, you did this so fast. Like, because I'm just, like, clicking all around, you know, in Photoshop. Because I can do flyers. Like, that's one of the other things I do a lot. I do flyers all day, every day at my job. Right. And so I've become very, very proficient in it. And so, like, you were talking about trying to teach somebody, you're like, why aren't they getting it? This is so simple. But I'm thinking, I've been using Photoshop for, like, 10 or 12 years now, right? Yeah. But you're talking about, you know, like, oh, they think they can do it themselves. He appreciated the fact that I was showing him what I was doing. Yeah. He's like, bro, I wouldn't even attempt to sit down and do what you're doing. I don't even know what those tools are. I don't know what you're clicking on. I don't know what you're doing. So I think somebody losing their job because they can do a few clicks in Canva, like, that's kind of lame of the company, in my opinion.
It is. I agree 100%.
Because that person's talent is worth more than that trick in Canva. They're doing more than just that. That's not their only their only function.
Right. It's just like sometimes whenever I start developing things to make it faster, you know, but like I remember whenever I started like doing Photoshop, I used to hate it. I'm like, oh my God, I can't.
Well, I still dread it on certain things, right? So like Photoshop forced me to become a better photographer.
Yeah, okay.
So like when I started doing my studio stuff originally, I didn't know what the heck I was doing with the lights. Like I bought some lights. I was like, we'll put them on over here and turn them on and set my camera to this, and like, and they look great on the camera screen, and then you go drop them in the computer, and like, oh man, there's like all these shadows, and this looks like trash, and it's like, how can you eliminate that? And or like hair ties on wrists, you know?
Yeah.
The moment a model or whoever I'm shooting would show up, if they had a hair tie on their wrist, I was like, take that off immediately, because it leaves that red line around. Or if they forget to take it off, so either you got to try to remove the stupid hair tie, or you got to remove the red stripe on their arm. And you know, I do a lot of risque stuff, so I would be like, don't wear socks, wear loose clothes. If you have what is it, scrubs, I was like, if you have scrubs, wear scrubs. Don't wear anything that's tight, nothing that's going to leave a impression on your skin. I don't want to sit there photoshopping all that out. And expressions, right? Like you know, or lighting, like just like every little detail that, like, if I had to do it over and over and over in 10 different photos, I was like, how can I fix this in the shooting process so that I don't have to edit it again? Because if I could shorten my editing time, then that was ideal for me, because I'd rather spend more time creating than doing post.
Yeah, no, that 100%.
The other thing I think I've become like really proficient in recent years is video editing.
Yeah.
And it's same thing. It's like when you try to sit down and show somebody, it's like you kind of don't even really know where to start, because they're like, do you know much about video editing? Like in Premiere?
Yeah, so actually I went to when I went to U of H, I was taking a class for video. We did some cool like editing. We tried to recreate like the beginning scenes of like The Walking Dead. And,
I think you showed me that.
Yeah. Like I love that project. And then we also tried to do like kind of like a scary movie, like, you know. Yeah, I had like a good time, and I know that like I could do it. It just takes so much more time, and
it is. But like I've gotten down like editing to like, I'm super OCD. You saw my spreadsheets, and you saw like, my closet. Like you see how I am. But like once I kind of figure out a process, I'm like, what? I always I don't want to lose my creativity, but I also don't want time to hinder me, right? So I'm like, how can I do what I want to do, but not spend time doing the grunt type work or the post work? Like I want to get my ideas and do my thing, but I don't want to spend hours editing. And with video, it's like I slowly start learning one more thing and one more thing and one more thing. Like when I first used to shoot with multiple cameras, so like right now we're shooting on 2 cameras. Sometimes when I would do stuff, I shoot 3, 4 cameras, right? Especially with like Ghost Texas, we have tons of cameras running, right? You used to have to to manually align the video clips, right? And you would have to try to hear the audio. So at the beginning of this, you saw I did the audio sync and I clapped. Literally, you just highlight all 3 rows, you know, so you got your audio video for one camera, audio video for another camera, and then you got your audio line for the mics, right?
Nice.
Just stack them all, highlight it, right click, and say synchronize via audio, and it's gonna go
really,
and it lines them up.
Wow, that's freaking awesome.
So it's like little things like that. You still have to you know, size everything so that you're fitting 2 camera views on there. You still got to know like where you're going to put things. If you're going to color grade, I don't do color grading on this type of stuff. But just when they added that one tool, and I don't know how long ago that was, because when I first started doing video, they didn't have that. And I would sit there and just spend forever just trying to line up somebody's mouth on one camera to another. Because if it's off, then you have an echo, or it looks like you're talking and mouth is moving, but it's like, you know what I'm saying? That used to drive me nuts.
Well, I am just really glad that they're all doing like all these changes to these programs, because
well, you know why they're able to do it now, right?
No, why?
Because they forced everybody to get a subscription instead of just selling it on a disc, because everybody was pirating it, right?
Right.
So they were the software, since the time of subscriptions versus back to buying a hard copy, is constantly being updated now, because now they're making all this money over and over and over. So now they got more developers on hand that they can start introducing new things. That's my theory anyways, because I feel like in the time of having to pay for a monthly subscription, the features just keep growing and growing and growing.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, because that motivates them to, like, you know.
Well, they have a budget to pay people to make it better.
That's true.
And they can take the feedback, like just that audio sync, you know. I'm sure somebody said, hey, y'all got to find a way to line this up, because this is a pain in the ass. And they're like, oh, well, we can create this tool. And then they did it. The content aware.
I actually think that was a good idea. I mean, I don't mind paying $10 a month for like Lightroom Photoshop. Obviously, the the whole like suite is more expensive.
Yeah, and that's what I pay for. It's like $55-$60 a month, and
you gotta
like,
get the like student.
the student. Yeah, no, I know. I don't like.
Or the Black Friday.
So when I first got it, actually, it was on Black Friday.
There you go.
And I was grandfathered in for like 3 or 4 years at I think my total was like 32. So I think I was getting it at $29. So 32 plus instant change. But that expired 2 or 3 years ago now, or 4 years ago. So yeah, it's like one of those ones that like, man, this sucks. I'm spending like $50-$60 every month for this program, but that program allows me to do what we're doing right now.
Yeah.
You know, it's a cost of doing business.
Exactly. But the good thing about I have a lot of subscriptions for my business.
Same here.
So many. But it keeps things moving, right? Like whenever you know that you're spending the money and investing it, because it's an investment, like
efficiency.
It keeps the ball rolling, right?
So one of the ones I use a lot is do you use Envato?
Envato, I used to before. I have used more Creative Market than Envato. Yeah.
I love Envato just because you got endless stock photos.
Right.
It's got music that you can use, non-copyright.
Right.
But also because I do websites, and so you have website templates and then flyers. There's endless amounts of flyers. If you're somebody who needs to do like a PowerPoint presentation or a keynote presentation, they've got endless templates for that.
Yeah.
And they even have it for all the Google products too. So it doesn't matter if you're using Apple, Microsoft, or Google. You can get those templates, and especially this, to me, the biggest main thing is the flyers and the stock photos and stock video. They have stock video too.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Because I remember you and I had split an account on Storyblocks.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I sometimes I use Adobe Stock, but I forgot about that one actually. That was a good one, right?
Envato, it's $200 a year, and you get all that stuff, man. And like it's tons of stuff.
Right. I was paying for like Adobe Stock again, and I was like,
well, Adobe Stock's expensive because it's still based on credits, right?
Right. Like you have to keep paying for it and keep using the credits.
Yeah, I hate the credit base. Like Shutterstock is that way. Like I won't use anyone. So when you pay $200 a year for Envato. If you downloaded 1,000 photos on day one, you can download 1,000 photos on day one, and 1,000 the next day, and 1,000 the next day. It's like unlimited.
Is this sponsored by?
No, right? I should get sponsored.
Right?
Heck yeah. I need to get sponsored by some of these companies.
I know.
But I mean, these are the tools I legitimately use. It's like same thing with the music. For the longest, I was paying for both Epidemic Sound and Artlist.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
And just recently, I dropped Epidemic Sound because I realized that like almost all the videos that I put music to the background, I was always finding the music I liked a little bit better on Artlist. Now, Epidemic Sound's a great product. It's just like I couldn't justify paying for two of them along with all the, like you're talking about. Like there's a lot of subscriptions. There's a lot of cost of doing business.
Right, exactly. Calendars, like, oh my God.
Yeah, I pay for Calendly.
yeah, exactly that.
It's endless. I'm sure there's other things I'm not even thinking about.
Right.
Storage, online storage.
Online storage, invoicing.
Everything. It's expensive to be a business owner, but
it is
the freedom. You know, like that's my goal. Is like right now I'm still working for an employer. You're living the life I want to live, which is working for yourself, right?
Oh my God.
I'm not there yet, but I mean that's my end goal.
It's honestly like. I love it, but it's very hard because it's a gamble every single month that like
and it's tough.
Your bills.
I just saw a meme today, and it's like I quit my 9 to 5 so I could work 24/7.
I don't even know how I pay the rents every single month. I'm still like, wow, I don't know how I do it.
It's an endless cycle.
I guess it's like social pressure, It's like you don't want people to know that you failed, so you have to like make yourself do it anyways,
It's tough, but you get to do what you want to do.
Yeah, I mean...
You wake up each day, and your schedule is whatever you make your schedule to be. If you book yourself up a lot of stuff, or if you're like, I need to take a day off in the middle of the week, you can take a day off in the middle of the week.
Right, but I don't have days off, so maybe one day.
Yeah, I don't really ever have days off either. I don't have hours off. It's like...
Right.
I go to work by day.
4 hours off, 5 hours. And then I just take a nap.
My hours off are sleeping.
Yeah, same here.
Because when I'm home, I'm pretty much working on my stuff.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know how you keep everything so organized. Like, I am a mess a little bit.
Being organized makes me work better, in my opinion, because I can't stand clutter.
Yeah. It's something that I have to learn,
I'm equally as organized on my computer. All my files, like all my videos, I make a new folder for each year, and then inside of each year there's a folder for each month, and then inside of each month there's a folder for each day.
Wow.
And then inside of each folder for each day, if there's multiple projects that were filmed in the same day, then there's gonna be a folder for each project. And then the same way, like when I build out my video projects in Premiere, I use the folders and bins, and it's like everything's like the camera 1, camera 2, but I actually name out the cameras. In this instance, these are all A6400s, but like with Ghost Texas, so when we're filming Ghost Texas, like we might have 30 or 40 cameras running at once.
Damn.
And so once we start taking all that footage and dumping it into Premiere, if you're not organized, you're not going to get anywhere.
No,
so it's
especially
like,
for video.
Yeah,
so
like
super organized.
I put all the videos in the folders, and then I upload it all to Google Drive, and then the team collaboratively reviews all the content from home.
Okay.
And then they put their notes on a spreadsheet, and then on the spreadsheets it'll say like GoPro camera or GoPro Hero 1, clip number such and such, minute marker this time, I heard or saw this, right?
Yeah.
And then when we meet up to do editing, we look at the spreadsheets, and then we go pull all the clips.
You're so organized.
Put them into Premiere. But it makes it easier, you know? It's some people are like, oh, you're creating extra work. I'm like, no, because I know exactly what needs to be done.
Right.
And I don't know how studios work, like film studios, but I imagine they're probably doing something similar.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I still use Excel. I feel like I need to get better at it. I mean, I've been told that if I was more organized, I'd probably be doing better, and I agree 100%. I'm not saying no. I just feel like, you know, being organized should be like number one, and I think you already got it, and you're definitely gonna make it like, you know, make it full time one day anyways, you know.
I appreciate that.
You already have like everything in the organization, like you just gotta give that step, you know. That's the only thing. And then I
gotta hit my goal this year. I want my 20,000 subscribers.
There you go, you got this. And no, for real, like, you know, sometimes whenever I'm like, you know, doing the whole thing with like the organization, how much money is coming through, and like obviously we have to do a spreadsheet, and that's how I make sure that the money of the rent is getting paid, you know.
So if you ever want help with any of that, let me know, and I'll be happy to show you what I do.
Okay, I would love to.
And I would tell you to graduate from Excel to Google Sheets.
Okay.
And because Google Sheets just lives in your Gmail account, and you can access it from your cell phone.
That's
or
what I use
your computer.
actually.
Okay. Because like Excel, because Google is live, right? It's a live sheet.
And then that way everybody can access it. Because I
just feel like Google Sheets are a little bit more user friendly too. Like sometimes I have to do Excel stuff. I was actually in an Excel sheet for work today.
Right.
And I'm so used to navigating and where all the tools are in Google Sheets, and I was like trying to do it in Excel. I was like, where is this? And then I feel like it's more complicated to do it in Excel.
Yeah, I mean, it looks the same. So I used to, you know, I'm like, for me, it is Excel, but I mean, it is Google Sheets because I share it with the team, and then everybody looks at it. Sometimes I feel like we need to get better at, like, we used to be really good last year with the team that I had last year, but I switched teams, and it's just been like hard to like.
So are you using it for task management or budgeting?
Well, the budgeting part is like me, and sometimes I am old school and I write it down like Excel style on a paper. But yeah, like for the most part, it's like customer service, like keeping up with like customers, and I mean.
Have you ever used or have you heard of Trello?
Trello. I have used Trello. I am horrible at CRMs.
Well, it's not really as much as a CRM as it is a task manager.
Right.
And then you can use it collaboratively with your team. So like you can have boards that only you can see. And then you can have team boards, or maybe only certain people are on certain boards.
Yeah.
And then you can create and assign a task, and then you can sync that task to your calendar. And then you can attach files to it too. So like if you needed to attach a link, or if you needed to upload a photo, or whatever, and you can do checklists in it too. So like you're talking about your customers, right?
Right.
If you have a checklist and you need to do the same 10 things every single time with each customer, you can go create a master checklist. So you can go create a task, and then you can take that task, and then you can say editing process for the photos or whatever, right?
Right.
And then you could just go make that customer's name.
Okay.
Check that you want that checklist to be in there.
Okay.
And then you can assign it to somebody, and then you can put a due date on it.
Right. Okay.
And then they have to go down the checklist and do all the things.
Oh, okay.
And then
Yeah.
I have a section that I use for resources. So like I use Trello personally, and then I also use it at my job.
Okay.
And so
I need to. It's just like you have to adjust.
you have to force yourself to use the tools.
You have to.
Even though like my team is smaller than it used to be at my job by day,
Yeah.
I'm still using Trello, even though it's mostly just me, because the frequency at which I get job requests through my job, it's never ending, right?
Right.
And
right,
if I
right.
try to go off a memory of Post-it notes, something's going to slip through the cracks, right? So as
Right,
soon as
that
I get
makes
an
sense.
email or a phone call of somebody requesting something, immediately I take it and put all the details in Trello, and then I set myself a due date for 24 hours later, even if I don't know if I'm going to get it done in 24 hours, but that way at least it will ping me and remind me like that I have to work on this.
Right. Right.
And then I can set the due date for the next day and so on. But
Yeah.
but by doing it, it's like you just become more efficient, and the process becomes routine,
Yeah.
and you don't have to like wing it, right? So
Yeah.
but I have a whole section that's what I call resources, and I deal with a lot of third-party companies and third-party vendors,
Okay.
and we didn't even have like a master sheet of who all of our account reps were, right? So I'm
Right.
like, no, we need all of our account reps in one place. I have templates of like setting people up in each system.
Okay.
Each system has a different requirement of how you set somebody up. So like, and I set people up on the regular. Every time we hire a new employee, got to set them up with like 15 different programs. And I like want to know that I got them set up for program 1, program 2, program 3.
Right.
How do I have to request that person to be set up or set it up on my own? What information do I need to collect?
Right.
Once you kind of start putting those systems in place, I promise it makes your life easier. In the beginning, it's
Yeah.
annoying because you're like, I don't want to do all this shit. But then once it's going and it just operates,
Yeah.
you can be a little bit more hands off. So like if you're
Okay.
managing a team of people, right now it's a lot of communication, right?
Yeah.
But if you can get organized and put it in Trello or even if a shared Google sheet,
Right.
you can step back a little bit and then you can focus on taking your photos, lining up your customers, and then let your team deal your post.
Okay. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna look into it again.
I'm happy to show you all this stuff too. Like,
Yeah. I would love to check it out because sometimes I feel like whenever you start using it, like you're still figuring out all the good like
the
items.
efficiency, right?
The efficiency, yeah, because when you start, like you figure out little by little, but once you already know, right, like it's just okay, like there's so much that will be very helpful, so I appreciate that.
I've implemented Trello just about everywhere I've worked, honestly. Like when I was at Comedy Driving,
Right. So you used it for a long time, or?
I've been using it for about 10 years.
Oh wow, okay, so you're definitely like used to the whole.
I think it's been around 10 years, but somewhere around there. Well, no, it's got to have been 10 years because it was about 2012 or 2013
Oh, okay.
when I
okay.
started using it. And so,
Right.
yeah, when I was at Comedy Driving, I was on the media team there, and there was like 3 or 4 of us. And so anytime we were working on projects, we put it all in Trello because, so kind of background on what I did there is I managed all the social media, some of the marketing online,
Okay.
but I also did a lot of the video creation and content creation for the course.
Nice.
So I wasn't the writer, right? So we might take an idea and then we need to script it. So we had somebody that was there that would do the writing and scripting. So they would kind of come up with a script and then we would figure out, we would just do a test recording of it to find out how long that script was.
Right.
And then we would have to say, well, what characters are going to be developed around this? Because we had an animator and he would do cartoons
Oh, okay.
to act out and, basically like making a cartoon of our script.
Right.
And then he would do a rough draft of that, but at the same time, simultaneously, we built up a library of people that would do the voiceover work. So like
Okay.
we would find those people sometimes through Fiverr, but we also had people we've been using long term. So we'd be
Right.
like, hey, here's the script, here's the what voice you need to do it in. Give us a recorded version of it. And so by the time we got back the recorded version, then our animator would have to line his cartoons up to synchronize to the audio of the spoken word.
Oh, wow, okay.
And then you add in your background music. So we would do all that stuff, and then there was the ones that I would do, which were not animated,
Right.
which were real life videos, right? So
Yeah.
it might entail like, here's the script, and then I would take a look at the script, and then I would get like talking about Google Sheets, right?
Yeah.
I would take the script and break it down into sections into Google Sheets just in order,
Okay.
and then I would make a second column, and I would make notes of what kind of shot that I think we need to shoot to
Okay.
show what that is being discussed.
Right.
And is that going to be somebody talking? or is it going to be B-roll, right? And if it's going to be B-roll, what is that shot going to be? Do I need to go out and shoot some footage on the freeway? Do I need to go shoot video of kids walking across a crosswalk in front of a school? Whatever it was, because it was all driving related, right? It was defensive driving.
Oh yeah, I think I probably like did one of those courses.
It's funny. I still get to this day people sending me screenshots because I'm in some of the videos.
Yeah, I remember that. You told me that like you were, and I did see you once.
Yeah,
I think we've all done like that, like committed driving. Like
it's the biggest one in Texas. So yeah,
nice.
It's in Texas, Florida, Arizona, and New Mexico.
Nice.
So I'm in all those courses. And I'm sure I'll be in those videos forever because what we were doing. So here's what's fun. So I kind of fell into the video there. Originally, I was there for the social media and marketing.
Okay.
But the owner of the company started, budgeting, right?
Right.
And he had to pay licensing fees to use those videos year after year.
Oh, wow.
But some of these videos were so old. You may be too young to remember using VHS tapes. Did you?
No, yeah.
You remember how you would watch them after a while and they would start to kind of like buffer and they would look
it started like,
So some of the videos that we were using in our course were digital copies of VHS videos, and it had this buffer, and the video looked like it was 30 years old.
Right.
And they were just real crummy, and he was having to pay licensing fees year after year. He was like, we just need to start making our own videos, and I own the videos and I don't have to pay licensing. He's like, it might cost me the upfront cost to develop the videos and to pay you people to make them,
right?
But then I don't have a licensing fee,
right? Because I will after 10 years you're paying so much money, right?
Yeah, exactly. And then anytime something would change in the laws and you have to update that video, it would sound like shit, because it would be like talking in my voice and be like, and then some other random voice would cut in.
Like that's
talking
not
over
anymore.
and then it goes back to the other voice, and it was real crummy, right?
Yeah.
So
that's hilarious.
That's where I learned a lot of my organization skills with video editing.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay.
Because when I was working there, we made a video for every single county in every major city in Texas, Florida, Arizona, and New Mexico.
Do you have to like name everybody? Like,
what do you mean?
The counties, like for
so like we did it for SEO. So I made about 600 or 700 videos that are almost identical, right?
Oh, damn.
And so so if you're using the exact same script over and over and over, right?
Yeah.
And you just go in a studio room and you're filming. So remember Ellie?
Yeah, of course.
Her sister Jessica actually did some of those videos for me, and then my friend Holly also did some of those videos for me.
Oh,
but
nice.
After like the third video, I was like, hold up, we're not going to have you read this entire script over and over and over again for every single city and every single county. It's the same script, right?
Okay.
So I was like, what if we film it 2 or 3 lines at a time, and then I can use that same 70% of the video over and over again. Yeah. But now we just need to change the intro line that says comedy defensive driving is offered in such and such county, right? So So that was like immediately a way that I was like, how can I take and shave off a lot of time? Because then after that, all I had to do was record the intro line. Oh, 500 different times. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's smart.
And then the editing process was faster because you keep the same exact video, but you're now just changing one clip. And so it didn't look like it was, vlog style, it'll cut, and there might be slight glitches.
Right.
What I did is I would flip it to an alternate screen. So like where the cut was, it would flip to a screen where there were only words, and then cut back to a screen of the live person again. Right, okay. So you didn't even notice that there was 2 takes. It sounded seamless, right?
That's cool.
And then just organizing in the bins, man. Because like when you first start video editing, you're just like trying to wrap your head around the tools in general. Right. So.
No, yeah. Honestly, like I bet that experience really helped you, like for so many like other things.
It was some of the most boring videos to work on, but it taught me like a system.
Nice, yeah.
To do it systematically.
That's awesome.
We did a lot of photography stuff there too. For the course. So like I already had my own studio, but it was nice like having like a secondary studio there that I could use if I ever wanted to.
That's cool.
So remember when we were talking about earlier When I went and picked up Maria, I was talking about how a lot of my camera gear got stolen out of my car.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Sucks.
you know, I say good or bad, everything always happens for a reason, right?
Yeah.
So when that happened to me, when my gear got stolen, I didn't go post about it, social media or anything yet. You know, like I was trying to get things squared away, and people were like, you should be able to claim it on your auto insurance. Some people are like, you should be able to claim it on your homeowner's insurance.
Yeah.
And I tried to go both routes, and neither insurance company would do it, right?
Oh, wow.
And so I was pissed. And so I just went and made like a post on Facebook, and it's like, it kind of sucks, you know, when you work really hard and you save every dime you get from every little side gig you can do.
Yeah,
and
then somebody just...
Yeah, and you get the equipment you want, and in 10 seconds somebody steals it all. Well, the owner of Comedy Driving, I've been friends with him for years and years, right?
Yeah.
About 2 or 3 weeks prior to that, he had just bought a 7D and a 5D Mark III. Right.
Oh, okay.
And that was like when those were like
really big.
That was the shit to have a 5D Mark III or a 7D, right?
Yeah.
And a couple weeks prior to that happening, he was like, "Hey, I'll pay you if you can just teach me how to use the camera." And I was like, "Oh man, I'm not the guy that would teach you, but I can line you up with this other person,
right?
And he should be able to do it for you."
Yeah.
And I was like, "It's not that I don't want to help you. I just feel guilty taking your money because I don't think I'm the right person to teach you step by step how to use those cameras." And he's like, "Yeah, no problem." Well, when I made that post about my stuff getting stolen, he was like, "Hey man, if you want to meet for lunch, I'll lend you one of my cameras until you can kind of like get back on your feet and, you know, get some equipment." Wow. And I was like, "Are you sure?" Like, cause I was like, it was I think it's a T2i, because I don't think I can't remember if I had the T1i or the T2i. Okay. But anyways, and he's like offering to lend me a 7D, right? And I'm like it's a huge jump up, right?
Right.
And I was like, I'm kind of scared to even handle your camera, because he had the nice glass too, man. He had like nice lenses. So we meet up for lunch. And we're talking about the cameras, and like immediately he's like, "Here, go ahead and take this," and he hands me a backpack. And it was like he wanted to hang on to the 70. He gave me the Mark III. I was like, "What? You wanted me to take the 5D, right?" Okay. So we're just chit chatting and hanging out and catching up. And then he was like, "Hey, I've noticed you have like a really good knack for social media and all that stuff, and you know, I'm kind of looking to fill a role for that at my company." And I was like, "Oh, really?" You know? Yeah. And because I'd known Jeff for years. And my equipment getting stolen is what led me to go work there, because we met for lunch to borrow a camera. And by the end of that lunch, he hired me. Wow. That's awesome. And look at you, like, yes, you work with him for a long time. Yeah. Off and on, I would think it's about 7 years I worked there. Wow. And a lot of the stuff, the creative stuff that I've done, I'm sure I still would have ended up in this realm, you know? Right. But like when I was working there, Jeff was a very nice person. He let me use all his equipment, right? So like I had my own equipment, but if I could shoot with I think I ended up upgrading to a T3i. Right. I could shoot with my T3i, or I can shoot with his 5D or 7D. Well, I'm going to shoot with that 5D or that 7D, right? So like I was getting to use equipment that I couldn't afford at the time. Yeah. Much better lenses, much better equipment overall. And I got to learn those cameras, right? I mean, they're not very different. Canon's pretty much the same once you're on Canon, but... Right. But yeah, and it created a lot of opportunity. I think that's kind of what led me into video. I wasn't really doing much video prior to that. And then being in a creative space, because all my coworkers there, like I was talking about with the animator, and then I was getting into websites a little bit at that time. Yeah. But one of my coworkers there, he owns a hosting company. So all my websites are hosted with him. Oh, nice. Okay. And so that's also when I started kind of like really, really getting into WordPress, right? Like I knew WordPress a little bit. But Damien, my coworker, like if it comes to programming anything online, Damien can program anything, right? Right. So as I was learning stuff, if I ever ran into a roadblock, I mean, I would go look on YouTube and try to figure things out. Right. But I could also just say, "Hey, Damien, this is what I'm trying to accomplish." And he'd be like, "Oh, just do this, 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 this." Nice. And I would go do it. And I'm like, "Fuck yeah. I've been like, trying to figure this out forever," right? So then I started, that was another way for me to make money. You know, I started doing websites on the side. I've built tons and tons of websites for people. Wow, nice. And all of these things that I kind of got in that position because my camera equipment got stolen. So as mad as I was in that moment, right, it led to much bigger and better things. I may not have ended up working there otherwise. Yeah. Have you had anything like bad situations turn good?
Yeah, I think there's been a lot of situations that I just wish, like before I have like, man, I wish that this had gone this way, but then I look at everything and then I'm like, if it wasn't for that happening, I wouldn't be where I am now, or I wouldn't know the people that I know now, you know. So then you get thankful for the things that, like, even if it's something bad happened, obviously like that sucks, but obviously like what makes you a better human and a better like person is just you know, getting through and just becoming better on the other side, you know. And whenever it involves other people and you're doing something good for the community, that's just so much like more meaningful, you know, because you know that you went through stuff.
It's more rewarding.
Yeah, and you feel more inspired, you know.
Yeah, I take everything as kind of like a learning experience. It's like you gotta roll with the punches. Like you can't always win. I mean, some people do, but like realistically, most people you're gonna fall, and you got to figure out, okay, well, I fell here. What can I do to get back up, and then not just get back up, but like get to the next level.
Yeah, and you know, and just the same as like you were saying, like we met in like some situation like that, like we didn't want to be in.
Like in the first couple of hours of meeting each other, we were like, we're both gonna quit.
We're like, this kind of sucks, like what the heck is this?
And we don't talk to him anymore.
No, I have no idea where he is. I mean, like, wish him the best, but like, it's just
it's funny, man. It's funny how things pan out, you know. When I first got approached to work on that magazine, I was not too keen on that guy to begin with.
Right.
But I saw it as an opportunity to like, okay, well, like I might meet some different people that I could potentially shoot with, which will allow me to shoot more of the stuff I want to shoot. You know, I can push my brand and push the stuff that I'm doing. And in trade, you know, I'm going to help him with his website. And it might open the door to some other opportunities, right? Like,
no, I agree.
Working there too led me to meet. Did you ever know Lady?
Yeah, I think so.
So I met her through the magazine.
Okay.
And then we ended up doing a couple shoots together here and there.
Okay.
And she was involved with a bunch of different organizations. So there was the Houston Zombie Walk, which was like a .org.
Right.
And it was a fundraiser. I can't remember what it was for. But through that, they had me come on as a photographer for the event that they held at Minute Maid Park.
Right.
And Vanilla Ice was the talent.
Oh, okay.
And so I got to hang out with Vanilla Ice for the day. And I got to shoot his show. And then after the show was done, we went out to third base on Minute Maid Park. And we were doing like interview with them. Right. And it was like, okay, indirectly through the magazine, I met Vanilla Ice.
Yeah, see, there you go. See,
so, you know, so it's like you never know where something's gonna lead you, right?
Because you could have been like, you know what, I'm not talking to any of these people, whatever, right? Yep. You could have just been like that, but you took the opportunity. You met like cool people that you're still working with. You know, obviously, like we're still working together, and you know, it just that's called making the best out of everything. You know, and that's what. Gets you for success, like gets you up for success, and that's like we were talking about, like it's just so much more meaningful getting through, you know.
So we'll wrap it up here soon, but as somebody who you've had help, obviously, because you know you've hired people over the years, but realistically, you built your company on your own, right?
Right.
You got out there, you did the work. You created your brand. You decided that you love photography. You were going to do the editing services, and then eventually you started Mantra Studio.
Yeah.
For somebody who might be interested in doing something similar to that, but it maybe is scared, is there anything that you could tell them that maybe that like some sort of advice or just like, hey, you might be intimidated, but just start here. At least start doing this, or what would you say?
Oh, man.
Or am I putting you on the spot?
You're putting me on the spot because, like, to be honest with you, throughout the years, it's just been like a roller coaster of emotions. Like, sometimes I'm like, man, you know, what did I get myself into, right? Almost. But as long as, you know, like, for me, what keeps me going is, like, I I wouldn't want to do anything else.
You're passionate about it.
I'm passionate about it. I believe in it. Like,
yeah.
I literally believe that it's something good. It's doing something good for the community as a whole. Like, just the fact that we're getting families together, kids happy, like, just, creating memories, because right now it's just a picture, but like in 10 years, it's going to be memories and it's going to be part of people's lives.
Yep.
And it's going to be prints, it's going to be like photos. Like, I haven't, to be honest with you, all the albums that I've ever taken ever since 2018 that we started the studio, every single album is there in my...
That's awesome.
In my, like in the Pixie Set account that I have in the storage. So, because, imagine somebody comes in like 10 years. I mean, I don't know how many years I'm going to have it, okay? Don't get excited, but, it's been 5 years, right?
Yeah.
And like, somebody comes to me and I have those photos and it's just going to be like, wow, they're still there. And, obviously I've seen my clients' kids grow up.
Yeah.
I remember, like, some of them are like 1-year-old birthday, then 2, another 4, like, or like, you go through the whole, like, they have 1 kid and they get pregnant, they have more babies, I don't know. I just find it very fulfilling. I just feel like my clients are almost like my family in a way.
It's like an extension of you, not just a job. It's like something you love. So the main thing would be passionate, right? So
yeah, like, just being passionate.
Don't try to just jump into a business or an industry for the sake of capitalizing on it, but something that you truly enjoy.
Yeah, exactly. And then obviously, like, the whole thing, building a community, is just that just fulfills me,
That's something I'm trying to work on.
Purpose.
Is community in regards to, like, I've been trying really hard to find local people that are interested in video and interested in YouTube, right?
Right. And no, I love that.
It's hard because, like,
I think
I can't really find the right people who are interested in collaborating on things.
Right.
And I think part of it is I'm older than you guys, right? So that's one thing. I'm not, if I was in college right now, it'd be easy.
You still look the same from when I met you. You look pretty young.
I appreciate that.
I don't know how you do it.
I don't sleep. I don't eat that great.
Damn. Okay. Well,
I work 24/7. I don't know. Like, yeah, I don't know. I'm single. Maybe that's part of it.
Right? I mean, no comment, but I get it. I get it. At the same boat.
Something that was funny I was going to mention earlier and I forgot, and you kind of talked about it just now. So when you were talking about, like, you look back at your pictures from Montrose when you first started and the balloons, and you're like, oh, I can't believe that's what I used to do, right?
Right.
But the thing is, it's a memory, right? So, like, even though maybe you've progressed and you've gotten better at what you did, the feeling that those people had when they were doing those photos, they're not looking at the photo for perfection.
Right.
The photo brings back the memory.
Yeah, exactly.
And the memory means more than the perfect photo.
Right.
At least in my opinion. Some like I edit my photos, but I also try to keep them as natural as possible. Like,
right.
I don't go hardcore on the editing. I want it to be relatively what I photographed, just maybe a slightly cleaner version. I don't do all the tons of airbrushing. I don't. Yeah. And I'm not saying it's bad to do these things, but I don't go in and put lipstick on people. I don't change eye colors.
To be honest with you, I hadn't really photoshopped any pictures until like last year, really, because now I'm like, okay, we have to bring the standard a little higher.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, I agree with you 100%. Like, with just being having honest.
It needs to be as close to reality as possible.
Yeah.
You want it to be an amazing photo, but you also don't want it to be overly fake either.
Right. Exactly. I agree.
Cool deal.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me. It's been a great experience. It's amazing to see your new spot and like all like your setup and how you're like, how you grow as a person and in your business and how you're progressing with your YouTube channel. And I wish you the best. And the more successful you're gonna become with time, like the more fulfilled you're gonna feel. But I already feel like you're doing great though.
I appreciate it. And likewise, I'm going to put all Maria's contact info in the video description, but eventually my podcast is also going to be on audio only networks.
Okay.
So Maria, like, what is maybe some of your Instagram handles, or if you have a website, or what are some places they can check you out?
Okay, so please support us in the Montrose Studios. We're at Instagram.com /the Montrose Studios. Also, you can check out my Instagram. It's Maria Alducin Photography, or Maria.Alducin for just my personal one. And
spell out Alducin.
oh yes, so that's Alducin. And I would love to check out y'all's, like photography. If you're into that, send us your work and just come shoot with us and come like have fun, because we're definitely like always up to meeting new people that are passionate and they're trying to get better at their craft, and we're always welcoming to people, especially when they're doing the same thing as us.
Yeah, if like, okay, so if you're not in the Houston area specifically, then y'all leave us a link to maybe your portfolio or some photos that you're proud of. And even if you are local in the Houston area, do the same. But if you're local in Houston, let us know.
Yeah.
So that maybe we can like do a meetup or something one day and just do like a shootout or kind of like semi-explore style,
right?
but
Let's
more
bring it
photography
back.
based, like we can just get a group of people to meet up and go shooting around town.
Yeah, for sure. That will be amazing. That will be lovely. So
Awesome.
come hang out with us.
Well, Maria, it's been awesome having you as a guest and also getting to catch up with you.
Thank you. Likewise.
We hadn't seen each other in a couple of years, so this
I know,
has
it's
been fun.
Probably been 2 years or so, right?
It was early COVID or mid COVID, so yeah.
Yeah. Dang. Okay, but we're still here.
Yes. Well, you guys, thank you for tuning in. Like I said, I'll have all Maria's contact info in the video description below, and we will see you in the next video.
Yay.
Bye.
Bye.